We have a big pensions crisis in this country, and it all revolves around the state pension and public sector pensions. Many people aren't aware that both types of pension scheme that offer you guaranteed pensions, they're totally unfunded. And by that I mean there's no money in the pot. Unlike, say, a personal pension, many people watching this video will have a personal pension where you pay money in, it grows, and it becomes larger over time. The more you put in, the more time goes by, it usually grows in value, or that can fluctuate. You end up with your own pot of money that you can use to create an income at retirement. But the problem with the state pension scheme is it's totally unfunded. There's no money in the pot. It's paid for out of the general tax reserve. In other words, all the taxes we all pay in the population, the money comes out of there to pay for state pensions. So it's what I call a pay-as-you-go system. And the same thing with the majority of public sector pensions. Public sector pensions are pensions paid for by the government, the vast majority of which are the same as the state pension scheme. They're just paid for out of general taxes that we all pay. That is a system that's worked pretty well up to now. But in the future, there's going to be a huge change in demographics, meaning that a much bigger proportion of the population will consist of retired people as opposed to people that are working. And that's a problem, because you have this thing called a dependency ratio today, where for every 3 people working paying taxes, every 1 person's retired. But by 2050, there'll be 1 person working for every retired person. And although retired people will have some income, the majority of the income will be earned by people still working. So it's impossible mathematically for every 1 person working to support every 1 retired person. So things have to give. It's already happening. What's happening is that state pensions, public sector pensions are being downgraded in one way or another. The major way of which they're doing it is by deferring the pension age. For example, state pensions have gone from 60 for women and 65 for men to 66 to age 68 for men and women now. And I think that pension retirement age will get older and older because we're all living longer as well, and because it's unaffordable. Now, there are a few public sector schemes, not many, that are fully funded. In other words, there's money in the pot. The 2 main ones I know of is the Civil Service Pension Scheme, which is known as the Local Government Pension Scheme, and the University Superannuation Scheme. There probably are others, but they're the 2 main ones. So it is impossible to see how this system can be sustainable, which creates a problem for people that are young today, by which I mean millennials and younger generations. You are unlikely to ever get a state pension, in my view. Now, that might sound alarmist, but if you actually crunch the numbers, it's just perfectly probable. I think some people will still get state pensions, but they'll probably be the poorest people in society like today. But the vast majority won't get state pension, because the state pension age will just go up and up and up and up. Public sector pensions are already being downgraded. The formula they use to calculate your guaranteed pension means you'll get a smaller pension. They keep messing around with the formula. And there doesn't seem to be any chance that the government will replace these pensions with properly funded pensions, because, believe it or not, the government doesn't pay into public sector pensions. Your employers in the public sector do not pay in. There's a deduction on your payslip for pension contributions, but you're not paying it into a fund. Effectively, that's a tax. And hypothetically, the government pays in, but they don't actually pay in, apart from those main schemes I mentioned, Local Government Pension Scheme and the University Superannuation Scheme. So the problem we have is, for any young people watching this video, by which I mean millennial age or younger, roughly 40 years of age or younger, it's very unlikely you're going to receive a state pension. And if you do receive, say, a public sector pension, it will be much reduced, because there's been such a lot of changes to it, not just a deferred retirement age, but also the value of that guaranteed pension will be a lot lower than in the past, because they've changed the formula quite a lot. So the message is that you cannot rely on the state. You cannot rely on a public sector pension or a state pension for your retirement. And it could be a very long retirement, because it's forecast in the next 20 years that the average age that we're all going to live to is going to increase from around about 80 now to 120. Which is quite significant. So if we're going to live longer and healthier lives, you could be retired a very long time. So you've got to build your own wealth, is the message from today. Unless you build your own wealth, your own sources of passive income, you won't have the ability to enjoy your retirement. You'll be living, scraping by. You'll be living on the edge and probably still having to work if there are jobs available to work. So you won't be able to have this cushion of state pensions. And we have advised lots of clients over the years, I have, and even today, in 2022, even with dealing with the wealthier people in society, I still find that a significant proportion of their retirement income is made up of these state pensions. So you can imagine what it'd be like without those state pensions. So now's the time to build your own wealth, be independent, don't depend on governments or on employers or the welfare state. You've really got to build your own wealth so that you're financially free and you can love and enjoy the rest of your life and all the benefits that come from that.